Hello, and welcome to That's Good, Pick It Up, a podcast mostly about golf books. This week, Nate Oxman welcomes Steve Scott to talk about his book, Hey Tiger, You Need to Move Your Mark Back. 9 simple words that changed the game of golf forever. Steve is a longtime professional in the golf world, founder of the Silver Club Golfing Society, has been a golf instructor, broadcaster, and so much more. In this 2-part series, Nate and Steve start talking about the book, and I think it's one that you will enjoy and you'll want to come back for the second part. If you like this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe and check out the other ones in the BestBall family. Now, let's hear Nate's chat with Steve Scott on That's Good, Pick It Up.
Why don't you tell me a little bit about what made you write the book, when that idea got in your head, when kind of you started the process of doing it?
Yeah, really. I mean, the process really started, I guess it was at the end of 2019, and I met my co-writer, Trip Bowden. He was the first Caucasian caddy at Augusta National. He had written his own book, great book called Freddie and Me. And I had him into a dinner for my golf society. We had our end of the year event in Augusta, and I had him come in and give books to everybody and tell a story. And at dinner, before he told his story, I told him my story just over dinner, and he said, I got to write this story. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know anything about the whole process of writing a book, and obviously you do because you did it. So anyway, we started a month later. We started in January and kind of framed out the book, and then 2 months later, COVID hit, and we had all the time in the world to write the story. And we talked on the phone endlessly, and we got it done. And it took 18 months from start to finish with the whole editing process and everything, and getting all the pictures together. It was really cool. I don't know if I'd do it again, but it was pretty cool.
What's the response been from readers, people in the golf world who've come up to you and shared their thoughts about the book?
Yeah, I think it's been pretty positive. It's not a New York Times bestseller or anything, but it's been really good for the people who appreciate good timeless stories of. It's just a reminder of why golf is what it is, and doing the right thing can be the right thing. And it's obviously a great story if it connects people to the great Tiger Woods and his history of 3 U.S. amateurs in a row, which nobody will probably ever accomplish at all. And pretty crazy that I was the guy in his way that day to try to stop history.
Did you know the title before you got started? Was that always going to be the title?
I don't know how many titles we went through, and part of me thought it was a little bit long, but it was overall. I don't know. I guess it just kind of worked.
For sure. For sure.
I think maybe we had a shorter one. Just maybe it was just called "Move That Back" or something. But I guess they wanted the whole thing in there, and so it was fine.
When you were a kid, hitting those plastic clubs around your kitchen, did you ever think that, there'd be a book about you one day?
Not really. No, no. I mean, you don't kind of. I don't know. You don't think those things are going to happen until they kind of do. Yeah. Look, the story is just a. It's just a really. I don't know. It's just pretty crazy to think I was in that moment against that guy with the history on the line, and then how it all went down, and with the ball remarking incident on the 34th hole. And I had to be up in the match for that moment to really
Yeah.
matter like it did
Yeah.
too. So, and I should have gotten dusted, 6-5 or 7-6 or whatever. It was meant to be the way it was supposed to happen. And it's just, again, just kind of crazy how it all unfolded the way it did.
When you were hitting those plastic clubs in your house, did you know then? I mean, you probably were too young. Did you know that this is something that feels right to you and this is something that I want to do? Or were you just a little kid having fun?
I always loved golf. I always loved the game. I always loved yeah, I guess I had a knack for putting a ball into a hole. I don't know. I guess it sounds pretty rudimentary, but it's that's kind of it for golf, right?
Yeah.
It's obviously more than that. It's more than it's the mental side of things and composure, keeping composure and having sportsmanship and all those things that go into golf. I just loved all the layers of golf. The more I started to play it and compete in it, and I probably like the individualness of the game too, because not that I was a loner or anything, but I like team sports. You always had to rely on your teammate to pass you the ball or
Yep.
whatever, and I don't know. I feel like you got out of golf a lot of what you put into it, and if you worked hard and you would reap the rewards and you wouldn't have to rely on other people to give you the ball. You always have the ball in golf.
Yep. One of the things that really stuck out to me in the first few chapters was your appreciation and respect for Ray Daly. You know, just giving you instruction out of the kindness of his heart, and just seemed like an unbelievable guy to be a part of your life when you were trying to figure things out in golf.
Yeah, I mean, meeting him when I was 10 at a local golf show was serendipitous. I mean, he was an unbelievable guy, but so much of a giver. I've been so lucky to meet so many people that have been givers in my life, and yeah, I mean that's kind of why I wrote the story in a way. It's like I wanted to feel like I gave back to not only to Ray but others who gave me so much in the game, and um, yeah, I feel like making sure this story of doing the right thing in the game of golf never gets lost. I know that the I was picturing when I was writing the book, I was picturing um, a junior golfer somewhere, and maybe their first interaction with golf was turning on the TV and watching like what Patrick Reed did, skirting the rules, and or
Yeah.
other sports out there where other people, are trying to cheat the system to win, whether it be blood doping or whatever the case may be, banging on the garbage can like the Houston
Yep.
Astros did to
Yep.
get the right pitches and all that stuff. It's just that's not sport. That's not what it's supposed to be. And I guess I wanted to have a documented reminder that this is the way you play the game, whether it's golf, whether it's whatever. You do it with your clubs, and you do it. You don't want to win on technicalities and trying to game the system. You win because you deserve to win because you were better that day, not because of some other some other technicality.
Yep. Yep. I also appreciated your honesty and openness about, your parents' divorce and how, in a strange way that propelled your golf career, right?
Yeah, it did. It kind of got me out of the house and into my own little world, and I think that I think it really helped. I really do. I think it was probably the biggest reason, looking back, of why I was so successful at such a young age and winning a couple state high school championships and playing very well as an amateur and all of that. I really feel like that was the catalyst for sure. Maybe I just got my anger out on the golf
Yeah.
ball,
Yeah. Yep.
and just getting into my own little world out there, practicing my game, and again, I could control all of that. So if I did what I was supposed to do, I felt like I would earn the rewards, and it kind of worked out that way.
Was it an easy decision to go to the University of Florida?
It was very easy, actually. Yeah, it really was. I was only recruited by a couple other schools, Florida State and Texas A&M, and University of Florida. Buddy Alexander believed in me and offered me a full scholarship, and I mean all those things. I mean the proximity to home. It was about 4 hours from home, but it was far enough, but it was close enough, and it was pretty perfect, honestly.
How cool has it been, both while you were there and after, to be a part of, an unbelievable golf program with so many great names? I'm sure you, cherish that.
Oh yeah, I mean to this day, I mean I stay in close touch with current coach JC Deacon and the whole Gators program, and following the up and comers like a Jack Turner or Luke Poulter or
Yeah.
Matt Kress or these guys. Ricky Castillo winning
Yeah.
yesterday, not too far removed from being a Florida Gator in Gainesville. It's just awesome. It's really just a great fraternity to be a part of. I mean, their women's team is very good. It's just really fun to have such a strong connection to such a great program.
So most people, when they hear the name Steve Scott in golf, they know of the Tiger USM, but not many people probably know the year before you made a great run too, right? Talk about that run the year
Yeah,
before.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm just fresh out of high school, and I make it all the way to the semifinals of the USAM. I mean, without that, maybe I don't play the next year, and maybe I don't qualify the next year because qualifying for the USAM is very hard. Um, I was very fortunate. I only had to do local qualifying for the USAM one time, and that was before that 1995 one. So the rest of the time, I was exempt all the way to the main event. So that was very fortunate. I played 5 U.S. amateurs in my life. Not too many college guys could probably say that.
No.
Um, and it was just, yeah. I mean, without that U.S. amateur at Newport, and how about this? Here's a stat for you. I played only mid amateurs that year. I only played uh, older people, no college guys. That year, I made it to the semifinals. I ultimately lost to Buddy Marucci in the 19th hole of the semifinals. But I know you're familiar with
Yeah.
Buddy, and yeah, it's just that was a great week. I made every putt I looked at. I was that was so much fun.
Just the experience up there in Newport must have been just really cool for a high school kid. Were you able to appreciate it, or were you just focused on, hitting the golf ball?
Yeah, I probably didn't appreciate it at the time. I definitely appreciated when I was done, though. I ended up getting a lot of invitations to a lot of the big summer amateur events the next year, and got to play in the Northeast Amateur, the Sunny Hannah, all of those, which was were hugely beneficial to my growth as a player. So I mean, I owe a ton to that 1995 U.S. Amateur for really setting my amateur career in motion, and giving me the exemptions to or the invites to all the big tournaments that I wanted to play in. So yeah, I owed a lot to that.
If I wrote down these qualifying scores correctly, that year was it 67, 77 to get to match play? Is that right?
Yeah, 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 67, 77. The next year was 79, 66.
Yeah, I mean that's insane. Is what do you attribute that
Yeah,
to?
totally.
Is that just golf is hard?
Just golf is hard, and the U.S. Amateur is hard, and you play two different courses, and
Yeah, yeah.
the pressure is on to get to match play. And I mean, I was very fortunate to get to match play both times, and missing a big playoff by just one shot.
Yep.
Like a 20 for 3 playoff, something that you don't get through. So, yeah, it was, yeah. I wish I would have given myself a little less stress in the
Right.
stroke play, but at the end of the day, it's just about making it to match play, and it's a fresh start. And so it doesn't really matter what you shoot in stroke play as long as you get in.
When you see, Newport for the first time, or you play a practice round and you get through qualifying there and you play a match or two, do you start to feel, can you talk about how you start to get into a rhythm, and get comfortable with the golf course and how important that is to be able to block out everything else that's happening? Is that something that like goes through your head?
Yeah, in Newport, I mean, it sure was. Like the golf course was great because like concrete. The
Yeah.
ball ran 50 or 60 yards once it hit, and probably what helped the Buddy Marucci be more competitive.
Yeah.
And but it was so much fun playing the rock hard is the concrete. You had to think about so much about not just point A to point B, but where it was going to end up rolling to point C after that.
Yep.
So there was a lot of imagination required in the short game, and the strategy. Where you could miss greens, where you could get it up and down. And I guess I kind of excelled at that strategy, and I excelled at holding putts when I had to hold them. And so yeah.
And I mean, it was tough in the moment, I'm sure, losing on the 19th hole there to Buddy, but how motivating was it for you to, say, I want to get back here? You obviously thought that you could, win one of these maybe.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, to get through, you have to have a lot of luck. Obviously, there's a lot of skill required, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of luck required to make it through and win an 18-hole match because anything can happen. Your opponent could make 6 birdies in a row, and you're 6 down, and you're toast. And so there's a lot of luck required for sure. But yeah, I don't know. That probably doesn't answer your question fully.
Did it motivate you big time, for the next year? Or you just, thinking I
Did it
just
motivate me? Yeah, yeah. I mean, sure. I saw myself have success,
yeah.
and so I saw myself make it pretty deep into the match play, and so I guess with a little more experience, I thought I could do more. I mean, I owe a ton to that 1995 U.S. Amateur just to give me the confidence to the belief to think that I could get it done possibly the next year.
Well, that's it for part one of this conversation on That's Good, Pick It Up, where Nate Oxman is talking with Steve Scott about his book, Hey Tiger, You Need to Move Your Mark Back. Be sure to come back next week for part two to hear the rest of the stories with Nate and Steve. Again, if you like this podcast, be sure to like and subscribe and follow along with the other podcasts in the BestBall family. You can learn more at bestball.com. Until next time, this is Robbie, founder and producer of all BestBall podcasts. Y'all have a good one.